rules and regulations, but practice them for the purpose of developing the desire to love Krishna. That's what the result of practicing the rules and regulations should be. If it's anything else, then we're not practicing them properly. So the other thing to be aware of is following the rules and regulations whimsically or working independently, like establishing your own set of rules and regulations, different from the ones in the scriptures. Or sometimes you accept the rules and regulations and sometimes you reject them, according to your mood. Or thinking that they don't apply to you for some reason. Well, guess what? They apply to everybody. So we have to be humble before the wisdom of the scriptures and the great devotees. We have to accept that those rules and regulations are in the scriptures for a good reason. Until we can show that we have reached the stage of anartha-nivritti, where there's no more bad qualities, no more unwanted activities or thoughts, then we have no right to think that we are beyond the rules and regulations. Actually, even a person who has achieved anartha-nivritti doesn't think like that. But they just become so occupied with their loving service, their internal service to Krishna, that they're not so strict about following so many, little rules and regulations. If you ever read Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is the official book of rules and regulations for Vaishnavas, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, there's so many rules and regulations, you can't even begin. A Westerner, forget it, You can't even begin to follow all those rules and regulations. So it's like you have to get up at a certain hour, just when a certain muhurta begins, a certain time period, as measured by the movements of the sun and the moon, the nakshatras and the tithis and all this stuff. I mean, without a background in Vedic astronomy, you can't even figure out what time to get up in the morning. Or what time to eat, or what time to do anything. So, unless you have a very strong background in Brahminical qualifications, you wouldn't be able to do even the first thing and the first rule, the first thing in the morning, what to speak of the rest of the day. So this is not for us. This path is not for Western Vaishnavas because it demands too much of cultural adjustment that we're not able or willing to make. Our path has to be the path of pure devotion, the path of love. And how do we attain that love? Well, we follow the rules and regulations to our ability, to our capacity to sustain them nicely. And we don't try to become fanatics. We don't try to overdo it, because that leads to fall down. And we don't follow the rules in a spirit of competitiveness or one-upmanship, because that also leads to fall down, offenses against devotees and so on. We follow them because we are trying to cultivate a desire to love Krishna. That's the means to attaining Krishna. We can't develop love of Krishna independently. We have to follow the rules and regulations and develop a strong desire for this love. And then Krishna will award it. Devotees who are very fortunate, who still have the ability to love, can simply desire to love Krishna, and then Krishna will immediately grant it. But this is very rare. Most of us have been conditioned out of the ability to love, and we have become hard-hearted. That's what it means to be hard-hearted, is that we lose the ability to love normally. And then we have to go through a lot of tapasya, a lot of sadhana, a lot of difficulty to reawaken our ability to love. Then we can love Krishna. So the message that I'm trying to get across here is that we shouldn't be fanatics, but we should be strict. We should be steady, but we should also be progressive. And if we follow this mood, and remain soft-hearted, then gradually that love for Krishna will take root in our heart. The seed will develop by the constant watering of chanting the holy name, and we'll be able to reawaken our original relationship with the Lord. And that's the aim of devotional service.